welcome. This is a podcast for our Plymouth podcast to go out on our Plymouth app. We are gathered here today with three very esteemed cottagers at Plymouth Place: Estelle Capps, Marjorie Kemper, and also Sally Cruz. Marge, I'll hand over to you. When people do talk about the cottages, what does it mean, and what were they?
Cottages were at one time 96 individual homes, and they were all occupied, so we had quite a few people back there. In time, we lost some of the homes because we had to build the landing, so 11 cottages came down. But anyway, back to your question, what does it mean to live in a cottage? The cottages were little individual homes, and each one was kind of designed for the person that was living there. Some people added on a little bit, some people changed some things inside, but everyone was individual, and we were able to add things like ceiling fans and things maybe that we wanted. So for many people living in a big house, when they wanted to downsize, they said, come to Plymouth Place and live in a little house, which is what we all did. We were part of Plymouth Place. We were residents. We did everything that we were able to do, everything anybody in the landing did. People came up to eat.
Yes.
We all had our cars. We were very independent, but we were also very part of Plymouth Place.
Lovely. Sally, can you describe, we say, two things about the cottage area that stand out in your memory?
Well, what made it so nice is we could have them remodeled the way we wanted them. And the other thing was we were able to walk out our door into our garage and go.
Wow.
Where everything was so convenient. And then I was the first resident, or we were the first residents permitted to have a dog.
Ooh, woof woof.
Yes, and we had a lovely golden retriever. When we came, or they told us, yes, you may have a dog. The weight limit is 60 pounds. Well, our golden retriever was 85 pounds, and I thought, maybe I'm not going to live at Plymouth Place because I'm not giving up my dog, or our dog. So she was interviewed, and yes, we had her. Dale interviewed her, called us up and brought the dog up, and it was decided she could stay because she was all fur.
Oh, wow. Estelle,
Yes.
Tell me about when you first moved to Plymouth Place, and what was it like?
Well, my husband and I signed the papers on a Tuesday that we were going to move to Plymouth Place.
Yes.
He was ill at the time, and he wanted to take care of me and get me settled, which was very nice. That was a Tuesday, and he died on Friday, very suddenly, very suddenly. But we had already signed the papers, and I knew that's what he wanted for me, and I thought, well, I don't want to be alone. We lived out in the country and on top of a hill, and I didn't like it at all. So I moved as soon as I could.
Yes.
And my brother was an architect, and he put a lovely home that was there, and it had a one-bedroom home right next to it. And they gave us a special price if we take that little one-bedroom home too. And my brother is an architect, and he did various things to the houses, but it turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful house with a fireplace. When you walked in the door in the middle and looked either way, you'd see a beautiful fireplace.
Shining, beautiful, yeah.
So
now, how many years did you live there combined?
Well, over 75.
It was 26,
combined.
27, and 24.
Wow, 75 years cumulative living in the cottages.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about the pond area, because we know that area out there was such a
waterfront
beautiful
property, I used to call it.
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
Waterfront.
I had lakefront property.
Living at the pond was wonderful because we got to experience all the residents that came walking around.
Yeah.
We also experienced all the wildlife we used to have a lot of ducks.
Ducks, okay.
And Sally and I paid a lot of money to buy corn to feed the ducks.
They'd go to her in the morning, and they'd come to me in the evening. They really knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great.
And what
So
other types of...
We also had egrets that came.
Wow, yes.
Did we have a swan that came? I think.
No swan, but we had them.
But we had, of course, raccoons. We had a fox. We had a lot of wildlife back
Oh,
then.
did.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And we had everybody.
Oh, we all had a patio that looked out on the pond, so we could sit there and enjoy it.
We all planted such lovely gardens. They were so attractive, and the other thing, we were a little community, and we had Christmas parties and barbecues and all sorts of things that we did as a little community.
The cottagers were set so there was quite a lot of green space around each one.
Yes.
Yes.
And then several places had bigger spaces, and that's where we used to have picnics and things.
Yeah.
The people, at the time the cottages were there, the people in the building were older.
Yes, okay.
And-
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And behind the building was a lovely grassy, not only grass, but beautiful flowers. And we would sometimes have programs there in the evening.
Yeah.
And there is a picture with Marion Giles.
Oh,
We had a magician or something with the snake around her. Remember
Yes.
that big yellow snake?
They had a children's party every year.
That's right.
And
We served-
we had my grandchildren come,
And they served ice cream cones.
Everybody was active. Nobody thought anything about walking back and forth a million times a day. We did all kinds of physical activities.
Yes.
So that was one thing it brought to Plymouth Place. Second of all, because they always were filled and we had a waiting list, it brought a lot of economic benefit to Plymouth Place. They were always filled.
Sally, you mentioned about pets. You had pets. Were there other types of pets? When were they first allowed into
Well,
Plymouth Place?
I was the first
You were the
resident
first.
permitted to have.
Oh, okay.
There were 2 dogs on health care.
Oh, okay.
And they would come, they were in the building, they knew when to get off the elevator. Well, I was the first resident to have a dog.
I felt I was still living independently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had a real feeling of independence.
You could come and go and...
Yes,
yeah.
and I had the garage attached and just got in the car and went where I wanted to go.
I think, as I've said before, it was a wonderful transition from moving from bigger homes that we no longer needed to a smaller home. That was one thing. And second of all, being part of a community and yet continuing our lives. Many of us came from the area, so we still had outside
Yes.
activities that we could still participate in and yet be part of this one. So it turned 2 lives.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And tell me, I'm just going back to when the landing was built. Yeah.
They had people living in it.
Okay.
And the main reason that was possible was because this building, the landing, is built further back on the lot. And the old building was closer up to LaGrange Road.
Right.
So they could leave that building and build the landing and then take that building down. Oh, first of all, move all the people over and then take it down.
And the old building was such that you could not drive, you had to go into LaGrange Road to come into the old building. So it was, the reason that my husband and I came out here was our grandchildren were here.
Yeah.
And so to have a cottage, I felt very free to have the grandchildren at any time. And there was a little slope back at the pond. It wasn't level, there was a little hill. And it was the perfect size for young children when it snowed to come and sled. It was. They loved, because they were very young, when the youngest was only a year and a half. So they were all 5, and so it was a great place to come and be with your grandchildren.
You're listening to the Plymouth Place podcast, Exemplary Living. throughout generations, and we're so lucky to have three esteemed cottagers of Plymouth Place with us today. I can only go back to when the current building was being built and you were in the cottages.
I think pretty much all of us were pretty active in taking some leadership roles up,
Yes.
up in the main building. I think maybe I might have been the most active when I think back to
Yeah.
what I did.
Yes.
But I think all of us felt like we wanted to contribute because we were part of Plymouth Place.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And when this building was being built, they had a parking lot behind the cottages for the workers. And those men were the most thoughtful. They came very early. They never made any noise. On Friday, they did have a time to have a glass of beer before the weekend, but they were very quiet.
Did you
and
join
so
them?
Polite. No, but we were very.
That's
they
true.
were such a considerate group of,
Isn't that great?
because there were a lot of them.
Tell me about the cupola. I know it's located in the Memory Garden, but
Oh, I
is
think
there...
it's lovely.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the history of that?
The cupola was on top of the old building.
Yes.
And when the old building came down, everybody thought it was a shame to just
Yeah.
take it away.
Nice.
So we still have the cupola. The cupola now resides in the Memory Care Garden.
Yes.
And the people out there can go out, enjoy it.
Spend time around.
And it's a wonderful feel for being able to bring history back.
And we all, those of us that were here then, sat and watched while they took it
Yes,
down.
yes.
We were all there
Wow.
watching.
Yes.
And it was
And guess what? Remember when we all signed a beam
A beam that's
that
up
went
in the
up
attic.
into the, is up,
Is that right?
way
Wow.
up here in
Wow.
the
Yes.
landing, way up there, there's a beam that has
That-
everybody's signature
That's so
that
special.
was here at that time.
We just left a little bit of ourselves.
Yeah,
did.
way up there.
up there.
Way up there. So when we see it
Always
lighting
be
at
there.
night,
Yeah.
your names are up there, shining into the sky.
It was, everybody was so, I mean, we came from the Washington DC area to be near these grandchildren.
Yes.
And so everybody, most people were from right here, but I didn't feel at all that I was an outsider. They welcomed,
We were all new.
we were all new,
Yes.
but you were all mostly from this
The area,
Chicago
yes.
area.
Right.
And I just felt welcomed by everybody.
But you have your family here.
Yes, that was, I
Right.
did. I grew up with my
Yes.
grandchildren,
Oh.
who are all very
That's right.
successful adults today.
Now tell me, when I walk out around by the pond, I see some beautiful benches.
We were privileged to have benches around because the people that lived up in the landing and in the building before
Would
that
walk.
used to walk around the pond. And for some people, it was a long walk. So benches were placed around, all the way around the pond, all the way up and down the paths.
The thing is, it was a good area around the cottages. It was a road all around the cottages, and it was such a good place to walk.
Yeah, so people walked, and some of the benches were given in memory of
Yeah.
people. Some
Yours
of them,
was.
my
Bob's
husband has one in memory of him, and it says, "Come on and rest your weary bones," because that's what he used to say. It's a big bench, and it's way out in the pond area. It's still there. They have refinished it over the years. It needed some attention.
Yes.
But it's in good shape.
What does Plymouth mean to you?
Well, I feel privileged to live here because it takes care of every need. It's not only a lovely place to live, there's a hairdresser, there's a shop. I mean, it just, everything is here. And programs are provided for us, activities are provided for us. There's someone, if we don't drive, there's somebody with it that we can arrange to have the car take us. Everything is provided.
Plymouth Place to me means a place of comfort, a place where people can gather, a place where people understand each other.
How has the philosophy from when you first moved in to where it is now?
I think
your...
it's pretty much the same.
Same.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
great.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
People
it's,
who move in say how welcomed
you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the
They
thing,
are.
and
It
two,
says over there, a mission to create a calming and inclusive, a welcoming and inclusive environment.
Yeah.
And I think it still does that. It did that earlier and it still does. But here's the other thing, inspires individuals to grow, connect, and live their best lives.
Yes.
Now that, I think, is continued all the way through. And I think hopefully will always continue.
I've only known one woman who isn't happy here, and that was she felt her family put her here.
Okay.
I think the rest of us,
all decided to come on our own.
yes.
And it's special to gather this history of the Cottagers, because that was a point in time that we never ever forget, but we learn and we appreciate, but we move forward as well. And you've been so central to that.
And another thing, this was a retirement home that was going to take care of you to the end. We had nursing.
Yeah.
And many retirement homes do not have that.
Yes.
We are a continuing care community.
Continuing care community.
And I think having that safety net, we have, our reserve fund that acts as that safety net.
We have everything.
Can I ask you, how have the activities changed over the last 20 years? So being in the cottages.
I think there
to
are
now?
more.
I think two things I think has happened. I think they've many more daily activities.
Yes.
Many more exercise opportunities.
Can I ask you, you were all involved in the time capsule for the 75th.
Oh yes, I was particularly.
Can you tell us more about that?
In the 75th anniversary, we had one committee that was designed to, it was called the Time Capsule Committee. And the group met, and we had two missions. First of all, we had to open the time capsule that was here from, I've forgotten how many years back, but anyway, we had to open that. So we had a big celebration in Dole Hall where we opened the time capsule. We took out each thing and we held it up and we talked about it. It was fun. Then the second part of our job was to figure out what we would put in the next time capsule, which will not be opened until the 100th anniversary. Now that took some doing. We spent a lot of time figuring out what maybe won't ever be around but would be pretty important now. So we're talking about a cell phone. We're talking about even the landline phones. There's a number of things that are in that time capsule that represent our present day life, which is now 6 years ago.
Yes, yes.
So we're again moving on. I don't think any of us are going to be here when they open the 100th. But for all of you who don't know, the time capsule is in Dole Hall. If you look toward the front of the stage, on the left-hand side, there's a plaque that tells you all about the 75th anniversary, and right behind that, as you open the door, high up, there is the time capsule. And so we're making sure right now that people know where it is for sure, so it doesn't get overlooked 100 years from now.
Yes, yes. Can I ask you, what would be your hopes and dreams for Plymouth Place into the future?
Keep going.
Just keep going and providing the things that there'll be new things coming in. And so you've provided some training for different things. Well, technologically, we're advancing so much, and I think Plymouth Place will help us, or help the future ones, to adapt as they have helped us to adapt. Because I came, as I say, 24 years ago, and 24 years is quite different than it is now.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence, all sorts of things.
I appreciate Plymouth Place now, and probably did then too. Change is hard for many people, as we all know, but because of change is inevitable and necessary, we all move along, and we've all been caught up in that, and so I
Yes.
think it's helped us appreciate change
And they've helped us.
adapt to it.
They've helped us adapt to it.
That's what I mean.
By providing all sorts of resources that would help us to understand. And I think that that's one of the big...
Very important.
The staff here, And they're thoughtful, they're kind, they explain, they're helpful. You couldn't have better, because they offer a great deal to each resident. I can't tell you how
And I would
much.
just say, just along those lines, echo what you're saying, and the role of people pooling together and knowing our history to our churches who founded Plymouth Place. And there's a saying, we're stronger together. And just to recognize that, and what a joy to be part of that journey.
That's another beneficial thing. We have 2 chaplains here,
Yes.
full time.
Right.
And they're here for us. There are not many places,
Plus 1 dog.
plus 1 dog,
Plus one
right?
dog. 2.5.
And there are not many places that even have a resident chaplain, but to have 2 resident chaplains available every day. The idea of the continuous living is really important,
Yes.
because it meant that I did not have, when my husband was in care, I didn't have to leave,
Yeah.
get in the
Yes.
car. He was right here.
I know one thing, the fact that we're all still here and able to talk and able to remember speaks a lot for Plymouth Place, because it's kept us going all these years.
Not be afraid to tell you that some of us are very old. I'm 95, and Estelle will be,
The oldest one, 96.
Oh,
so you keep us going, which is...
Right.
isn't that fascinating? Well, that is the biggest sharing today, which I think is so amazing. Yeah.
In fact, we're still here.
Yes.
Well, again, we want to thank each of you for being here today and telling us your story and your time of the Cottagers. You can tune into the Plymouth Place podcast on our Plymouth app, and also on all of the other social media. For me, Paddy Holman, take care. See you all soon.